Greetings to everyone out there and welcome back to Around the Clock. Alright everybody, it's April 9th and the brand new liberation tariffs have been officially implemented here in the United States. If this lingers on, this can affect the Switch 2's price. So, let's first get into this brand new video by NBC Nightly News that talks about the Switch 2 and the tariffs, and I'll come back with my commentary.
I'm joined by Tom Yamas, and Tom, experts say the prices on everything from cars to toys could go up.
That's right, Lester. If tariff fees are fully pushed on consumers, the price tag for, say, sneakers made in Vietnam could jump 40%. An iPhone could spike $350. So tonight, we thought we'd take a closer look at a single product, Nintendo's hugely anticipated Switch 2 console, set for release June 5th. Nintendo has already sold 150 million Switches. The new version would be the first major gaming release since the tariff announcement. Pre-orders were supposed to start tomorrow, but instead the company hit the pause button. They've decided to assess the potential impact.
They got to figure out what they're going to get charged. Do they charge 50% more? Do they charge double? Do they even ship them?
The current price for the new Nintendo Switch, $449. Ironically, to keep prices down, Nintendo had moved some of its Switch 2 production to Vietnam because of earlier tariffs on China. But Vietnam is now facing its own 46% tariff.
How much of this is made in the U.S.? None of it.
None of it. The reality is, for these tariffs, it is a gut punch for every electronic. Nintendo being the first case because they're early in terms of the Switch. This is basically an economic Armageddon coming to tech.
Ives says moving production to the U.S. isn't a realistic option.
How much would it cost them to start manufacturing Switches here in the U.S.?
Tens of billions of dollars.
Billions? That's because of a supply chain that's been built over decades.
It would take 4 to 5 years to even build and get done a factory here in the U.S. And the reality is the assembly, the supply chain's in Asia. If you just build a factory here in the U.S., where are you getting all the parts from? Still in Asia.
Nintendo says it remains on track for a June 5th release.
In your estimation, how much of what we buy is going to go up?
90% of what we buy as consumers living in the United States is going to go up. And I think the U.S. consumer doesn't realize the storm that's coming, but they'll be seeing it over the coming weeks and months in those prices.
Tom, this is fascinating, but there's a big caveat here.
Yeah, Lester, there is a big caveat, and that's that the president has the power to exempt companies from those tariffs. It happened in the first Trump term. It's unclear if it'll happen in this term. It hasn't happened yet, but he does have the power to impose tariffs, but also to exempt some companies.
All right, so as you see here, this is getting very interesting. Now, like I said there in that report, it's possible that President Donald Trump can exempt Nintendo from these tariffs, but we don't know what's going to happen in the upcoming days. At this point in time, all imports, no matter what the item is coming from foreign regions here to the United States, will be tariffed. And this affects Nintendo greatly because, like Dan Ives said in that interview, Nintendo doesn't manufacture anything here in the United States as far as consoles are concerned. So this is really bad for us right now. And just to give you an idea of how these regions will be tariffed, as you can see on your screens here where it says April 9th, 2025, higher tariffs for worst offenders like China at 34% and Vietnam at 46%. Those two regions manufacture Switch 2 consoles. Now, and I talked about this in a previous video, as you can see here, if these tariffs linger on, based on these numbers, here's how much the Switch 2 will be priced at if Nintendo exports from the 4 countries after the tariffs. If they export from China, the price of this console will be roughly $599.99 here in the United States. From Vietnam, $569.99. From Cambodia, $579.99. And from Malaysia, $489.99. And for those of you hoping that Malaysia is the best scenario, like Dan Ives said in that interview, yes, it will take months, probably years before they can actually manufacture the Switch 2 console with the parts needed. So that's not an ideal scenario if they want to get these Switch 2 consoles out to consumers as soon as possible. Now, I want to address something here because I see a lot of people in the comment section saying that Orange Man bad and things like this. And hey man, I'm not defending Donald Trump whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think if a politician's mouth is moving, they're lying. But I will say this thing that Donald Trump is doing is actually trying to bring manufacturing back to the United States and establish a fair trade agreement between these countries, because whether you know it or not, the United States have been blackballed as far as trades and imports from different countries since the 90s. And this all started with Bill Clinton signing that NAFTA agreement. And if you don't know what NAFTA is, Google is your friend. But just as a quick summary, this was a trade agreement that shipped off U.S. manufacturing to different countries around the world, and in return, the United States would import those products back to the United States, in most cases at a higher rate. And if I'm not mistaken, this has been going on since 1993, over 30 years ago. Most of you weren't even born yet, but I remember this very clearly. So we have to think about this logically and get our emotions out of this, because emotions in business do not mix. What Donald Trump is doing essentially is trying to stop this whole unfair trade agreement from different countries who are highly taxing us on importing U.S. products back to the United States. Now, if this lingers on, will prices on our everyday products, not just the Nintendo Switch 2, go up? Yes, and that's because we do not manufacture anything here in the United States anymore. Now, we do manufacture some things, but not like it was in the 80s, 70s, 60s, and even early 90s. It's not like how it was back in the day. For the most part, we import just about everything from shoes to iPhones, cell phones, whatever cell phone you want to think about, even food. So hopefully these countries can come to a fair trade agreement, but if not, yes, things will look bad, not just for the Nintendo Switch 2's price, but for our everyday products. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this video. And what do you all think about this? Please let me know down in the comment section. Also, make sure to like this video, share this video, and hey, if you'd like to support this channel financially, please consider becoming a member. The cost is only $1 per month. That's right, only $1 per month. That's $12 per year to become a member. Links are down in the description box below. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on daily Nintendo news content. Because here at Around the Clock, we focus on Nintendo news content around the clock. I'll catch you guys in the next video.